Hey there! Have you ever wanted to travel to the most exotic and off-limits places in the world? Well, unfortunately, there are a few places that are strictly off-limits to tourists and even to most locals. These places are either too dangerous, too protected, or too secret to be visited by outsiders. Even though it's hard to fathom that there are locations like these in our world, there are actually quite a few of them. There are some military installations, just to give one example, that restrict entry to their personnel solely. There are some historical sites that are so susceptible to deterioration as a result of people's presence that they're considered fragile. In addition, there are some hazardous locations that none of us would ever voluntarily choose to go to. Still, many of these locations pique our curiosity in the same way that a forbidden fruit quickly becomes quite appealing. They behave like magnets, drawing in intrepid visitors who are eager to learn more about the world and discover its hidden corners. For the sake of your own life, you shouldn't even attempt to go to these locations in the first place. It's safer that way. In this video, we'll take a look at 10 such places that are forbidden to the public. Some of these locations may surprise you, while others may be familiar to you. Before we get started, make sure to like the video, subscribe to my channel, and hit the bell icon. Number 10. Svalbard Global Seed Vault, Norway. The Global Seed Vault in Norway is a highly significant location for each and every one of us, despite the fact that it is also known by the nickname the Doomsday Vault. It holds 100 million seeds scattered from all corners of the globe in preparation for repopulating the planet kingdom in the event that something absolutely devastating befalls the vegetation on our planet. The vault, which was opened in 2008, was constructed to last for about 200 years and it's resistant to earthquakes and explosives. In addition to this, because it was installed on the slope of a mountain, even if all the ice in the world melted, it will still be higher than the ocean. It is interesting to note that the vault is apolitical, as even North Korea has supplied seeds to be stored there. Number 9. North Sentinel Island, India. A little island can be found in the Bay of Bengal known as North Sentinel Island. The native people that live there, who are known as the Sentinelese, refuse to have any kind of interaction with the rest of the globe, and are one of the only groups of people on the planet who have not been influenced by our society. How do they prevent people from other places from visiting their island? They just shoot arrows in their direction. Because of this, it is physically impossible to approach the island and escape the confrontation alive. An interesting truth is that when researchers were analyzing damage caused by the tsunami that occurred in the Indian Ocean in 2004, even their helicopters were attacked by the Sentinelese because they were approaching the island. Of course, none of them were wounded. Yet, the zeal with which the island's populace guards its island is demonstrated by this incident. Number 8. Mezhgorye, Russia. Russia is the largest country in the world, thus it is not surprising that it is full of interesting and unusual things. It is home to a large number of haunted sites, abandoned settlements, and other unique locations. Take, for instance, the region of Mezhgorye, which is located within the Bashkortostan Republic. It is a walled city that is tucked away in the southern Ural Mountains somewhere. 2 battalions are stationed around the town to prevent anyone from approaching it or even getting close to it if they have the intention of penetrating it. It is not quite obvious what this area is or the reason why it is shrouded in the level of obscurity that it has. It is a nuclear missile base, according to the stories that are the most credible, and it is rumored to have automated missiles that can be directed from a remote location. We still have no way of knowing for certain what Mezhgorye is due to the fact that government officials have remained silent on the matter. Number 7. Grand Shrine of Ise, Japan. Because it was constructed to pay homage to Amaterasu, a goddess who is associated with both the sun and the cosmos. The Grand Shrine of Ise in Japan is a particularly significant location for the Shinto religion. It is interesting to note that the inner shrine, also known as Niihau, was built without using a single nail. Even more intriguing is the fact that this temple is completely reconstructed every 20 years in accordance with the Shinto concept of the cycle of life and death. Most recently, it took place in 2013. In addition, whenever they redo the structure of the shrine, they always use the method of putting the wood together and never resort to use nails. Only members of Japan's imperial family and priests are permitted there. In order to preserve the sanctity of the location, everyone else is only allowed to look in from the outside, through the wooden railings that surround the temple. Number 6. Surtsey, Iceland. Because of a volcanic eruption that occurred between 1963 and 1967, the island of Surtsey, which is considered to be one of the youngest in the world, was formed. The sole use for it that exists now is in the scientific community. It is strictly prohibited for any tourist, with the exception of study groups, to set foot on this island. This is due to the fact that scientists wish to use it as an example of how ecosystems develop without any impact from humans. It was extremely important for the scientists to remember that they were not allowed to transport any seeds into the island. On the other hand, a few of them disregarded it and brought tomato seeds there to plant in their own colony. In other words, someone pooped there and a tomato plant sprouted up. As soon as the scientists recognized where this plant came from, they eliminated it so that they could carry on with their pristine research. Number 5. Chichen Itza Pyramid, Mexico. The fact that Chichen Itza is included in this list could come as a surprise to you, given that it is widely regarded as one of the most visited tourist destinations in the entire globe. You're quite correct in that assessment. Each year, tens of millions of people travel to this location to gaze in awe at the stunning Mayan pyramid. However, despite the fact that you were permitted to get there, as of not too long ago, climbing it has been made totally off limits. After a woman fell off the pyramid while descending in 2006, the authorities decided to implement the prohibition. This event came to a sad conclusion, and in order to prevent anything even somewhat similar from happening again in the future, it was made off limits to the general public. This resulted in the dismay of a number of tourists who were attempting to climb the peak of Chichen Itza. Number 4. Niihau Island, Hawaii, USA. Niihau, which is often referred to as the Forbidden Island, was bought in 1864 by Elizabeth Sinclair, a Scottish farmer and plantation owner. Ever since that time, it has been privately owned by Elizabeth Sinclair's descendants. In 1952, the Hawaiian Islands were afflicted with a polio outbreak. Thus, a restriction was placed on leaving or entering the islands in an effort to prevent the disease from spreading further. On Niihau, there were thankfully no reported cases of illnesses, and the island presently has a population of only about 170 people. In order to gain access to it, one must first obtain a special permit, which is not only challenging for regular people like us, but even for wealthy and well-known individuals. Number 3. Poveglia, Italy. Poveglia is a small island that may be found in the Venetian lagoon between Venice and Lido. In the past, this place served as a plague quarantine station and was home to almost 165,000 afflicted people who were spending their final days and hours there. There are certain studies that indicate that human remains make up 50% of the island's soil. And if this terrible event weren't enough, in years later the island was used to house a mental institution that had a terrible reputation among the locals. After a period of time, it was decided to close it, and since then, access to Poveglia has been completely restricted for everyone, as if someone with their faculties intact would voluntarily choose to visit this eerie location. Number 2. Pluto's Gate, Turkey. People in earlier times did not have the courage to venture into the Pluto's Gate in Hierapolis, Turkey, because they regarded it to be a highly risky location. Pluto's Gate is located in Turkey. The ancient historian Strabo believed that there was no chance of anyone surviving there. Following his excursion to this location, he penned in his journal that he threw in sparrows and they soon breathed their last and fell. The reputation of Pluto Gate was established by scientists in 1965, which came as a complete surprise to everyone. They found out by monitoring the CO2 concentration that at night, when the temperature drops and the CO2 gets heavier than air, it forms some type of a lake on the bottom of the gate. This happens when the temperature drops below the dew point. When daylight arrives, the concentration is at its highest point, and any living thing that ventures there runs the chance of being killed. However, after the sun comes up, the area is much less dangerous, since the sun causes the gas to disperse. Number 1. Fort Knox, Kentucky, USA. Fort Knox is widely considered to be the most tightly guarded location on Earth due to the fact that it houses the majority of the United States gold reserves. There are numerous safety features that would astound even the most jaded of onlookers. The most intriguing part is that not even employees can get into the vault. Each employee only knows one of the required combinations, thus they need the aid of their co-workers in order to get entrance to their vault. Furthermore, the structure is impregnable, because it is constructed out of concrete-lined granite and reinforced with steel. So there you have it. 10 places that are off-limits to the public for various reasons, from military bases and secret organizations to indigenous tribes and ancient caves. These places are shrouded in mystery and intrigue, and visiting them is strictly forbidden. Which of these places would you like to visit if you could? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more travel and adventure content.